What's up, you guys? It's Victoria from UnderVictoriaSpell, and in today's video, I am going to be talking about all the books that have made me blush. These are the ones where I'm sitting and I'm reading and I'm like, it's getting hot in here, you know? And I really want to start a new series on my channel called Books That Made Me ... And the first one is Blush, and another one will be coming out on Friday, I believe. But I'm so excited to talk about these romances and just fangirl over some books that have made me blush. So let's hop into it. Okay, so let's get started. I have 7 books to talk about, and these are books that really just have made me sit and squirm in my seat. I have gotten hot in here. If I'm listening to it on audio, I'm like, okay, I really hope I'm not at a red light, because I have my audiobook turned all the way up. And also my fiance has walked in on me while I've been listening to an audiobook, and he is like, what are you listening to? I'm like, it is none of your business. So let's just hop into these books. The first one that actually inspired this video is Treble by Roselle Adams. I recently read this for a video, and I absolutely loved it. It is actually a novella, and it follows a polyamorous couple, and it is spicy. Let me just tell you, it is like next level. Like, there was scenes where I was like, holy moly. Like, I literally just had to sit there and like digest what just happened in the book. It was so good. And pretty much the premise of the book is this polyamorous couple, they end up dating the same woman, and it is their relationship together, exploring things sexually, emotionally, mentally, and kind of intertwining their lives together. I absolutely loved this book. Caitlin from the Love Librarian was the first person I ever heard talk about this, and I'm so glad that she did because I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the next book I'm going to talk about is actually kind of like a holiday romance, but it kind of follows different seasons such as Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. But that is 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Elizabeth Morgan. I read this in December of last year, and it was so freaking good. Not only did I love the hero who was just so obsessive over his heroine, and our heroine who was on her like self-discovery journey and getting her self-confidence back. Like, I really loved that aspect of the story. But let me just tell you, their smutty scenes was literally like you had to have a glass of water while you drank those. While you read those scenes, because it was just spicy. It was just hot, and Dominic knows how to take care of his woman, and it was so freaking delicious. I was here for it. So if you have not picked that book up, you absolutely need to. There is more books by this author that I have put on my TBR. I can't wait to get to them because she wrote the smutty scenes very well, but also the character development amazingly. So definitely pick that up if you have not. And the next book is like probably one of the most famous books on BookTube, but there is just one particular scene that literally I was like laying down and I like had to jump up and like read because I was like, it is getting spicy. I need to be paying attention. And that is Heartless by Elsie Silver. And the scene in particular that I am talking about is the birthday party scene in the kitchen. I did not see that coming. If you have read this book, you absolutely know what I'm talking about. That was hot as hell, and I was so here for it. And the way he talks dirty to her, I was like, Cade, you know what you are doing, honey. I was here for it. That made me blush. Also, all of their hot tub scenes were very hot. But this story follows Cade as he is looking for a nanny, and Willa just so happens to be free for the summer and takes the job, and their banter back and forth is amazing. It's hate to love, forced proximity, nanny romance, and it is hot. If you have not picked it up, what are you doing with your life? Because you need to. And the next book I'm going to talk about is actually kind of like the whole series is very hot, but The Never King by Nikki St. Crow is so freaking good. I absolutely love this series. It's a Peter Pan retelling, so it kind of has that like urban fantasy aspect to it. It is very, very good. It follows Wendy Darling on her 18th birthday as she gets kidnapped by Peter Pan because he is trying to get his shadow back. And not only does he take her to Neverland, but there's also like the Lost Boys there as well, and they all pretty much taking care of our heroine, and any scene with all of them in it was amazing. Like, there's some scenes that I was like, I cannot believe this is happening. I need to look away, but I can't because it is so freaking hot. So, I don't know what that says about me, but oh well. I was obsessed with the series. The last book comes out, I believe, this year, and I'm excited to see the conclusion of this story following Peter Pan and Wendy and the Lost Boys, because it's like a why choose reverse harem romance, and you already know that's my favorite, so check, check, hot. And the next book that I'm going to talk about is Gravity by Sarah Kate. As you know, Sarah Kate's one of my favorite authors, but Gravity was such a different book. There's lots of people that don't like this book, but I really enjoyed it. It is pretty much a poly romance between a father and a son and one girl, and I know that is taboo. I completely understand that. But you have to read the story to understand why it works, because they're all going through grief and they're all connected to this one island, and it's forced proximity. They have demons that they're trying to fight off, and so like it makes you really feel for them. But let's talk about the scene that made me blush. And if you've read this book, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the first scene where they're all together on the couch. When shit went down, I was like, holy shit. I also was like sitting up on my couch. I'm always laying down. I have to like jump up because I have to be like, what is going on? But this book was so good. And the second book follows who she doesn't end up with. So in the end, she doesn't end up with both of them. She does pick one of them. So I really loved Free Fall, which is the second book in this duet. It's very, very good. I also would suggest it, but Gravity just gave me some scenes, and the helicopter scenes, oh my god, I forgot about those were spicy. I was just like, I don't know how to describe, like I was just blushing and I was just giddy and I was like, this is so good, and I just ate it up. So love that. And the next book that I'm going to talk about is Break Me by Nina West. This is actually the second book in the Wolf Hotel series, but there was a read along last year with some ladies from BookTube where we read these, and I feel like everyone agrees, if you have read the series, that you know what scene that we're talking about. It's in the back of this like work truck thing, and I was like, okay, like, let me just sit back, get me a can of Coke, and just drink this right up, because I was so here for it. But you need to know about the book. But that's the scene that made me blush. This follows our heroine as she gets a job for Wolf Hotels, and she moves to Alaska for, I think, like the summer or like a holiday. And she has pretty much fallen in love with the CEO of this company, but things are a little bit more complicated because you don't want to mix business with pleasure. And also, she was really sheltered growing up. She grew up in a very religious household, and she was engaged to be married, and she found her fiance cheating on her. So she has a lot of trauma in her past that she's kind of trying to heal and grow from, and also become her own person. And it's really great to see her journey throughout the whole series, but it was just so good. Book 2 is my favorite. It is sad because of what's going on in her main relationship, but she has a scene in this book and I was like, yes honey, get it, because she deserved it. So absolutely loved that book. And those are the books that have made me blush And I just think it's so fun to talk about these books that kind of just make you giddy and just really love romance. It's like the light side of romance. Like, yes, we love, you know, the depth, the emotion, and the angst. But sometimes it's just fun to talk about the things that make you blush, that make you just smile and be giddy over a book. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know below a book that has made you blush. I would absolutely love to know. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.